Okay, this is my video of the Westinghouse WGen7500 dual fuel portable generator. Reasons why I selected this after doing some looking around. It had some features that were necessary for me in my area that I needed to have. It needed to be dual fuel capability. I had to have a propane operational generator along with gas. This also boasts that it has the quiet operation pulse flow muffler system, which is supposed to make this unit more quieter. However, I have seen videos where they've done noise test decibel readings on it, and you can expect it's going to be in the 90 range as you're standing right on top of the generator. Step back about 40 feet and it's probably going to drop down to the mid 60s as far as the decibel reading goes. But we'll look into that later after I get a couple of days testing on this unit before adding on to this video and giving you my final thoughts. Some other things that this thing has: it has the smart switch ready capability, so if you've got a transfer switch already on your electrical panel, you're good to go, no problems there. It also has the remote start feature, which is kind of nice to have in the event that you cannot go out and physically turn on the generator. However, with the remote, the ignition has to be on for it to work. So as long as the ignition is on, it's going to be draining your battery. So that's something you're going to need to think about, before the event happens, whether you want to leave that ignition switch on. Also, too, it's mid-size. I didn't want to get anything too far over the 10,000 wattage range, because then you're talking about a device that's going to chew up a lot of fuel in a very fast period of time. I needed something that is mid-range. It does have 5% total harmonic distortion on this generator motor cap, so it is relatively safe for your computers and whatnot inside the house. That's another good feature about this, although it is not an inverter generator. The propane feature was very important to me because the last time we had an event that rolled through town, I live basically on a peninsula. And it's a large one too. It's about 608 square miles of peninsula, and there's only two ways in, either by bridge or by a small land pass up further north of us. And if any of those two things get cut off, you cannot expect to get any type of gasoline in your area anytime soon. That's why I wanted the propane feature. The last event we had that came through town, gasoline stations were out of fuel for 1 week prior to the storm even arriving. And then after the storm left, we were without gas for almost a month. So you're looking at 5 weeks minimum that we were without fuel of the gasoline nature. That's why it was very important to get a propane generator. There are diesel ones out there too, but they're very pricey, and diesel fuel in my area isn't particularly cheap either. I mean, it's equal to or more than propane at this time. And before I finish up, and last but not least, another reason why I selected this model was the price point. The price point at the time I bought this off of Home Depot. .com, their online website, and it was $849 at that time. Considering the features that it has, that wasn't too bad. A lot of inverter generators with far less power are running for around that range. So, although, like I said, this thing's going to be a lot louder than an inverter, I'm not really concerned about that. As I said before, the last event we had come through here, people were running their generators 24/7, and law enforcement at that point in time has much more urgent things to deal with than handing out noise citations in the middle of the night. Okay, here's the unit unboxed, and I'm going to do a quick walk around, which I've done a little bit earlier. No obvious signs of damage, which is always a good start. Everything is all metal with the exception of the air cleaner, which is a little disappointing. The gas tank itself is all metal. It has the fuel gauge on top. It's got the hefty plastic rubber wheels that will be going on shortly. The supposed new and improved muffler system to quiet this unit down. We'll see how that works. Like I said, the air filter here is a heavy duty plastic. Hopefully that will last over time. It's got, let's see, it's got the 420cc motor. It's got the 3-year warranty with the hotline number right there in case you ever need to call for emergency situations. It's got the fuel change indicator there. It's got the multimeter there, tells you the voltage. It's got the ground neutral. It's got the transfer switch right there. And of course your typical outlets that you get with a size generator such as this. This unit requires a 10W30 weight oil. I am going to use the oil that it came with for the first 3 hours, 4 hours to break it in a little bit, change it out, and then I'm going to be switching over to a Castrol 1030 weight oil. Now on this battery here is a 12 volt 9 all 10-hour battery, and I knew it came with a battery of this size according to the Home Depot website, so I went out and I bought a better battery, a motorcycle ATV battery, which is also of the 12 volt 9 all persuasion, and it also has 230 cold amp start hours, so I'll be using that to avoid having to use the pull start switch. But it is nice, it does have that feature in case you do lose the electric start capability. It has the pull start right here. So overall, we're off to a pretty good start. No physical damage of any obvious signs. So now I'm going to take a look around at that muffler, see if there's any modifications that I could do to it if I wanted to exhaust the fumes out of like a generator shed that I had put in the back. Take a look at that. Also too, I'm going to be looking at adding in an extension to this oil drain plug to make it a little easier to do quick oil changes off of it. Overall, I gotta say this unit is rock solid. Other than the air cleaner, everything is solid metal. Even this plate here is metal on this unit. Can't say that about the other ones. And after some inspection of the generator itself, it was discovered that this far end bolt here was loose, and it was apparently loose for the factory testing because you can see the scorching of the exhaust that was coming out through there. So in order to get this off, it was necessary to take the gas tank off the unit, which required this support bar right here had to be taken off. So it was releasing these 2 screws here, removing the bar, and then unhooking the 2 fuel lines. A fuel line back here, and then the carbon emission line right over in here. So those had to be removed, and then remove the 4 bolts of the gas tank, and then it slides out through the back here. So my original intent was to make a modification to the muffler, and after getting this unit taken apart and discovering several mechanisms in here, electronic speaking wise. I decided not to make any modifications to the unit itself because I'm going to take advantage of the 3-year warranty this thing has. There's some electronics on here I'm not familiar with, so this one, for example, right here, and then it does have the remote start feature, which also has electronics over in that area there. So basically I decided not to do any modifications to this unit. It really wasn't necessary anyway. I already have the Champion one rigged up, so if I need to put that into a shelter I can, and then exhaust the fumes out back, and this one I'll just run outside as a normal unit when time comes. So right now all I have to do is put this muffler back on, tighten down the bolts. Okay, now that I have the unit assembled, it's time to move on to some testing. First set of testing will be done with the original plug that came with the unit. I believe it's a torch plug, and so far I've not had very good luck with those. So I went out and got an NGK iridium plug for this unit for the second round of testing. So I'll be using that. And iridium plugs are highly recommended for LP gas small engine use, so we'll see what the difference is in performance. So let's get the testing on that next. Okay, I've got the unit set up outside and I'm ready to start it. Battery's been hooked up. Got the unit switched over to propane. The propane's hooked up. So all you got to do now at this stage to start this is turn the run button on and hit the start switch. Test number 2, and now I have the iridium plug in there, so we'll see if there's any major difference between this and the original plug that came with the unit. So test started. Okay, it's time to wrap this video up. My final thoughts on it are, I'm completely happy and satisfied with the unit. It performed very well. It's easy, super easy to start. As long as the electronics hold up, it's a pleasure to start. Just push of a button and there she goes. The test between the two plugs, well, I prefer the iridium plug. I think overall it runs better. The wattage is more stable. Although I noticed with the cooler plug, the torch plug, it does start a little easier with the cooler plug. But be that as it may, I'm going to stick with the iridium plug. I got a good price point on this unit. At the time I bought it, it was $849. Of course, that price has gone up. Since then, I believe it's hovering around the $950 range for the same unit now. Home Depot carries these as well as other manufacturers. The reviews on this unit are pretty good, and there are a lot of videos on YouTube about this unit now, and there's also no shortage of critics on YouTube about this, although the critics tend not to post videos of their own. In fact, if you go to their channels, you can't find any content at all, or you can't find any subscribers subscribed to their channels. So you got to kind of take the criticism like a grain of salt. All I can go by is what I have right here before me and that I've actually tested, and I didn't run across any of the issues these critics have said about it. There are 2 points I need to make about in the first video I had 2 comments that were laid out. One of them was the USB ports on his unit were kicking into charge mode, according to what he was telling me. I didn't spend a lot of time with USB ports on this unit. Very little time I spent with them, so I'm not sure what kind of problem he was experiencing. So that was the one. And then the other was somebody left a comment about, since this is an electronic start device, if the battery were to go dead, that the pull start on this probably won't work. And he's probably right. So it probably, well, in my case I bought a backup battery. So I have one fully charged in case this one does die. However, this unit does come with a trickle charger that connects right up to the control panel right there. So you can just use the battery maintainer that comes with this unit, and you really shouldn't have any troubles whatsoever. And here's a quick look at the battery maintainer when it's hooked up. It's merely a wall board that you plug in, and then you plug this into the terminal here. Your battery indicator light comes on, and now your battery is being slowly trickle charged as it's in storage. So this is a wrap on the Westinghouse WGen7500 dual fuel generator. Thanks for watching. See ya.